Hi everyone. So let me introduce myself. This is Sudhir Konamali. So I'll give a little bit of a quick background. I don't bore you much actually. I come from predominantly offensive security background. I'm a red teamer. So we started this company to solve some of the critical problems because when we are doing lot of red teamings across the world, every time we are penetrating to the organizations at 100% actually. So today I am going to talk about what is attack surface, how it has been changed over time and how it evolved over time, and what are the biggest challenges that the organizations are facing today, and how what is the efforts are going to the attack surface management remediations, and how we are fast tracking it actually. So if we speak about attack surface war time, so predominantly everybody we know now 15 years back, so everything is in data centers, right? So only we have one firewall. There is all we need to do is we need to manage the ports very well actually. So that's where there's no security engineers in the office. There is no security problems also because everything inside actually. All the applications inside, there is no much applications native to internet and all those stuff. There is no much security problems. But what happening is, so again, the cloud era started. Now all the devices, so the servers especially, all moved to cloud. Even pre-production environment, productions environment, your consumers started SaaS applications and all those stuff. Now the entire digital footprint, now it's in cloud. That's where the attackers are seeing lot of digital assets. So the first thing is we natted our digital assets because of the business growth. And the third era is supply chain era. So let's say we are using Slack, we are using Office 365, we are using so many softwares and we don't know how they are secure. And our users are predominantly putting lot of data into these third-party applications where the company doesn't have any visibility into it actually. And so this is where the lot of attacks started on the third party. If you see the recent attacks, the shipping industries or manufacturing industries, or in if you go to any power production industries, most of the attacks now are coming from a third parties actually. And again, so today we are in AI era. So AI era, so it is like, so our applications are on public. Our data is on public. Our users now are more internet savvy. So with this particular, with any AI, I can construct a fake profiles and fake assets and impersonations and everything. It is so much easy, and we never get caught. So your attack surface now, it is changing over time, and the defenders, it is so hard to cope up with these so changing attack surface. And what are the biggest problems for the customer's perspective? What we saw is one of the major problems is false attributions. So in the attack surface management. So if you go back and buy any tool and you want to see what is your attack surface and all those stuff, so many a time you see that this device is not mine, this asset is not mine. So we used to use this particular IP address a while ago, so we are not using now. Why it is reported to us? And again, there are a lot of false positives, like lot of vulnerabilities now everybody is throwing at place. And when we go under remediation efforts, it is like there's so much of an efforts organizations are putting, but we are not seeing the ROI. The companies are not seeing the ROI. Why? Because all are false positives. To identify the false positives itself, it's taking a longer time. Then identifying remediating vulnerabilities, it takes much harder actually. And again, so most of the enterprise now, they are facing like a lot of signals. So let's say earlier there was only few assets, few vulnerabilities. Now it is like the assets are in thousands. Now we are seeing some of the organizations where assets grown to the lakhs as well actually. Because of these overwhelming assets that is native to internet, it is very hard to identify their assets itself. What is their assets? What is not their assets and all those stuff. And hunting the right asset where the vulnerabilities are sitting, it is so difficult because we have to go through each record and all those stuff actually. this is where exploitable attack surface, will come and will help you. Actually, what is exploitable attack surface is actually, so let's say why it matters is like exploitable attack surface is like getting remove of all your clutter and testing it all vulnerabilities, so whether it can be exploited or not from the hacker's perspective, so that you don't need to go through all false attributions, what I mentioned, you don't need to go about false positives. It is just focus on what is that can be exploited from the attacker's perspective, so that you close it very quickly, so that you will be very safe. Why we have to close it very quickly? Because we are in AI era. So today, if I take all your telemetry data of a subdomains, okay, I just post it, that my AI, ChatGPT will give you which are the subdomains are live, which are the subdomains are not live, which are the subdomains carrying what vulnerabilities and all those stuff. So that means attacks has become simple and attacks has become faster. How do we defend? Our customers has to defend this fastness actually. So that's where the exploitable attack surface actually it comes into picture, and it will solve really the biggest problems of remediating and throwing the clutter and remediating the vulnerabilities faster actually. Again, so this is one of the examples. So many of the people have seen, so how many people are impacted by polyfill? Polyfill is one of the third party component, so it has been impacted globally. So what does polyfill means? So here I am giving two references where, so polyfill is one of the third party component that is used in the websites actually. So that's predominantly loads into something, some function actually, it's a software. And attackers has attacked that particular polyfill and poisoned actually their server. So the people who is using the polyfill, so like say if you have two examples, one is here we are referencing it, so polyfill.io, so and /v3 and polyfill. So this is where we are rewriting or rerouting that URL to the cloud, and we are downloading certain frames actually. So that's where when attackers are poisoning that particular cloud instance, when you download it, that's where the attack comes into your doorsteps actually. And here another way is like polyfill has been properly implemented into their application. Let's say we download that particular libraries and we install it. So when we scan from the outside in, actually many of the people, they say the moment when you identify the polyfill.io or polyfill as a keyword, they say it is vulnerable. But when an analyst, when our security people, they go and check, saying that they try to understand how the polyfill is vulnerable. First they have to understand what happened to the polyfill, how it has been attacked, how attackers can leverage and all this stuff, right? So for them it will take a lot of time. So what we have done in CyberMinder is like, so let's say we eliminate, so we clearly differentiate what can be attacked, what cannot be attacked. So it is based on the context of your deployment, okay, how your assets are deployed and all those stuff. So that's where exploitability will really help, saying that what is our vulnerability that can be impacted, what can be exploited. So and what are the biggest challenges today for AI, for challenges and AI for the defenders actually. So the biggest challenges from the AI, from the attacks perspective is, so lot of there's thousands of vulnerabilities are there, thousands of exploitabilities are there. Let's say you go and you check your domain, a lot of third party components will be there. In these third party components, okay, the attackers are leveraging these third party components and they just like pasting into just ChatGPT and generating lot of attack template, saying that okay, this is my attack template, this is how I can attack this particular organization. So that's where, so how AI can benefit, so to the defenders is, we can use the same technique to rerun the entire ecosystem and they can get the things out, saying that okay, and we can do it at a scale. So earlier I'll give you some of the metrics earlier. So for 1000 assets, there used to be around 2500 plus loopholes, so vulnerable loopholes. Let's say either it is a CVEs or misconfigurations or something like that, it's to be a 2.5x. So that is like a non-exploitable vulnerabilities. So how attackers are leveraging those, like now, it's like they are downloading all the 2.5k so vulnerabilities, and they are uploading it to the ChatGPT in a single go, and they are asking, you tell me, so where I can penetrate, what are the doors I can go in, really, which server I can complement. It gives you result in just 15 minutes with the deep research, just 15 minutes actually. So that's a scale. So today, and AI, so it is not only, and for the how defenders they are using the AI is, let's say the same technique we use it, and we use, we pass on our data, our third party data, our fourth party data to see where the attacks are coming up. So that's one of the benefit. AI can benefit both to break in or to defend actually. Here are some of the real world examples. So one of the customers, so initial discovery what we have done is, it's like, so there is like IP addresses, subdomains and all those things. There are 20,000 plus signals that we identified. So once we identified 20,000 plus assets, you just imagine that is 85,000 plus vulnerabilities, it's used to come up. So then what CyberMender really does is, like say we passed on everything and we implemented AI. Now we have reduced everything to just 200 exploitable vulnerabilities, and we are real time mapping with the AI. So that, so those 200 if you focus on that, so it will reduce your 94% of your noise actually. So that's where the ROI. So where the ROI comes in is like, acting fast, acting with low bandwidth and with low resources, because everybody don't get security budgets, right? We can't get very skilled resources today, and we don't get so many people to do that and all those stuff. So I'll give a little bit quick, so what CyberMender solution is all about. So CyberMender is a SaaS-based platform, so where it's predominantly built on attackers' perspective. So how attackers can attack any of the organization, they always start with a domain name. Once they start with the domain name, so they just go and picks up all your data from all the OS and sources like Shodan, Census, and lot of places actually. So and they'll enumerate your subdomains, your certificates, your mobile applications, your websites, who are the CISOs, who are the security people, who are the application developers, what is their GitHubs. They'll hunt they're taking their personal GitHub email IDs, and they will hunt, is there any GitHub repositories is available. It is like the reconnaissance tactics are today so huge. So if I even test, check by saying that in AI, saying that what is the reconnaissance strategy based on this particular domain, I had to follow. The AI will give you saying that these are the 30 OSN sources, or these are the 15 OSN sources, these are the 10 OSN sources. You need to look the data, and this is the thing. So we are in that era actually. So again, CyberMender picks up the data from the 30 plus OSN sources, and we implemented AI into our platform. So that's called Predict Engine. So what we have done is we are taking all your DNS telemetry and we are passing on to AI to get the subdomains out. So that's where when we are getting 25% more assets that is nowhere you can see in any other platforms out in the internet actually. So that's where we get additional assets. Once we get additional assets, we completely scrapping all the deep and dark web, saying that what is your compromised assets, whether your employee's personal email IDs are got compromised or personal endpoints are got compromised and all those stuff. So once we get all the data, our biggest challenge is validate. Again, we use AI here for the validation. We pass on the thousands of records to our machine learning and AI algorithms to validate, and those will validate with an accuracy. So today we are accurate at 0. So it's like our false positive rate with the validation is less than 1%. Actually, 99% of the time we are very accurate on the asset discovery. Actually, once we validate everything, so that's where we create a multi-stage attack engine. Again, this is an AI based. So this particular multi-stage attack engine is purely context based. So it will identify the ports, we identify the risks. Based on the risks, it will automatically generate a script. It automatically creates, that attack template. And today we are using around 16,000 attack templates. Onto the context, again we feed it that to AI again. So these 16,000 will power more attack, templates with the use of AI. So that's where a multi-stage attack engine will exploit, all the assets, and it will test what is that, can be exploitable. And it will give you the true context, and it will give you the true vulnerabilities, and it saves you a lot of time. So you don't need to hunt, a needle in the seashore kind of a thing. So the closing thought, this is what, so we are solving biggest problems of, false positives, false attributions. Actually, we are bringing attacks at scale. Like say how an attacker want to attack your organization. So with our platform, you can simulate by yourself. So we have built a complete scanner, so AI based scanner, so that you can run the entire ecosystem by yourself. There's no system dependencies required, and it is just like all you required is just like domain name. That's it. So your organization domain name. From there, our platform will construct everything, right from the beginning to the end, identifying from the domain name. So it's like identifying the assets to the identifying the vulnerable assets and bringing that particular one vulnerable attack path, actually. So that's what the CyberMinder does.